For the Vezo, formerly nomadic coastal people who've grown sedentary by gradually foregoing the siren song of the sea, these pirogues are slowly losing their splendor. The vessels, which were once synonymous with freedom, are increasingly left on the shore and are used more and more in shallow waters. For these sailors, it's a paradox that is about to shake up an entire way of life. Because what remains of a sailor who no longer goes out to sea?
I don't know how this whole seaweed thing got started, but one day we were told to grow it. The Vezo are fishermen, obviously, but there are fewer and fewer fish, you see. I remember when I was small and we'd go fishing, we'd bring back all sorts of fish. Now there are more people to feed, families are large, and there aren't enough resources. There aren't enough fish anymore. Some foreigners came from Volondriac and encouraged us to get into seaweed. They saw how fishing was more and more of a struggle, and they showed us how to grow seaweed. Apparently, the foreigners need this seaweed, so they buy it from us. It's good for us. No, the seaweed isn't for food. We grow it for the money it brings. And with that money, we can buy all sorts of things, like rice, cooking oil, and all sorts of staple products. Actually, we were forced to grow seaweed, and I say forced because fishing was getting harder and harder. We didn't have enough to eat. Before, we used to go out fishing, but now this activity is all we have left. We need to adapt. My husband doesn't go out fishing anymore. Now we have to tend to the seaweed. We have to stay together for the seaweed.
There are a lot of things we're not allowed to do here. Seems like the foreigners are the ones making the decisions now. Here, grow seaweed, do this, do that. That's the work they've given us.
Until now, no one had ever prevented a Vezo from going anywhere. But lately, the government and certain NGOs have set up reserves, places we're not allowed to go anymore, and periods when fishing is not permitted. It's not the same anymore.
We have various things that aren't allowed, various taboos. But when the Christians came, they told people, there are no taboos. You can grow what you want. You can eat what you want. So people began breaking the traditional taboos. Then suddenly, the conservation NGOs came along with another lesson. That now we must protect by outlawing certain things. It's the reinvention of traditional taboos. I was with a UNICEF representative whom I work with here in Toliara, a woman from UNICEF. We traveled through the north together, and she said, "Look at the poverty in Madagascar." I told her, "Mom, these people aren't poor. Let's go and ask them how poor they actually feel." So we went and asked a man, "Where are the poor people here?" And he pointed to the poor people next door who lived in the same sort of house. They were the people the man considered poorer than him. Then we asked, "What about you? Are you poor?" And he said, "No, I have a herd of 100 Zebu." So in terms of the notion of poverty, everyone has their own definition. That's what we need to do before we set up the fight against poverty. We need to ask ourselves, what is the poverty we're going to fight?
Certain regions are inaccessible by modern vehicles, making the Zebu cart the means of transport which is most adapted to the land. Travel and movement is aligned with the animal's steps, which changes people's relationship to time. For the Malagasy, there is solar time for harvesting, lunar time for ceremonies, and Zebu time for daily life. In many ways, the Zebu sets the pace of life in Madagascar.
I think the Zebu is the vital element in a Malagasy's life. Vital because when you're born, you need a Zebu. When you die, you need a Zebu. When you get married, you need a Zebu. When you get circumcised, you need a Zebu. The Zebu is present throughout your entire life. It accompanies us for our whole lives.
The Zebu has been anchored in the culture of Madagascar for centuries and holds a central role even today. Though used as a work animal, it is mainly the animal's sacred powers that make it indispensable. Socially speaking, the Zebu guarantees recognition and prestige. Spiritually, it is the intermediary between the living and their ancestors.
The Zebu brings a lot of status. It's like having a child. Sometimes our dead parents contact us and ask for a Zebu to be sacrificed in their honor. It's to commemorate them. With a Zebu, you can make all sorts of requests. Zebus are very, very important for us Vezo.
A family who doesn't have a Zebu is socially fragile because they cannot participate in the rituals required by tradition. But for important events, or in the case of a problem, the community organizes itself so no one gets left out.
Often, ancestors contact us during our sleep. We see their faces, and they ask us to make offerings, like rice or rum. Sometimes we're asked to sacrifice a zebu, and they may even threaten us. And if by chance we don't do what they ask, we could suffer misfortune.
The healers, the Ombiasi and the Douani, they're the ones, along with the patriarchs, who run the community. They play the role of mediators in society. They're the ones who ensure society still functions.
If there is a serious case, when someone is afflicted by an ill that resists treatment, they're declared bilo, in grave danger. To evacuate the evil spirit that possesses them, the community gathers and proceeds with a ritual that lasts several days, blending music, chants, prayers, and many offerings to the ancestors. Because in Madagascar, everything that happens to the living is inevitably connected to the ancestors. The ceremony generally ends with the Zebu sacrifice.
The main threat is development. That's actually what will slowly make this traditional culture disappear.